The Association of Mineworkers and Construction Unions says the Mining Indaba has nothing to do with South Africans. Addressing the gathering earlier, President Cyril Ramaphosa says the investing in African Mining Indaba has become one of the most important platforms for the advancement of this vital industry. And he also says that mining continues to be an essential part of our economy. Yesterday on the show, we spoke to an organization saying the voices of the people seem to be left behind. Let's now speak to Joseph Mathunjwa, AMCU President. Thank you so much, Mr. Mathunjwa, for your time. You say this gathering has nothing to do with South Africans. How so?
Yes, good evening to you and to your viewers. Indeed, it's got nothing to do with us. If it has to do with South Africans, in particular mining and the communities, wouldn't be still commemorating Lily Mine disaster whereby 3 mine workers are still trapped in the container. So this is just the gathering of the looters, whom they call themselves foreign direct investors, of how to loot the South African minerals in the expense of the black majority.
So I suppose then, and I'm going to go back to Lily Mine in just a second, but then I suppose listening to what you're saying, you're not convinced then by what the president said earlier, because he says that South Africa is open for business and he's assured mining companies and investors that they can come. We do have challenges, they are being addressed, but they can come.
Yes, I mean, South Africa is for sale. It depends how much do you put. It's for sale for any highest bidder at the end of the day. Look at the communities where are the hosting communities. Look at the poverty that, is surrounding those, communities. So therefore, you cannot say yes, the mining does provide employment, but is it quality jobs that they provide? You remember yourself, we had to take 5-month strike to fight for the workers to move from 3,000 rand per month. It has to take 34 lives gunned down by the state, protecting the white monopoly capital interest. That was the mining in colluding with the state. So you cannot boldly say that this gathering at Cape Town is to do with black majority or mine workers. You remember this gathering is coming from 1800 through the times of Bismarck, how to conquer Africa. So it's a continuation, it's an exhibition of technology, how they can quickly loot the African minerals.
And going back to Lily Mine, I was in conversation here on the show with Action SA leader Herman Mashaba, and he says that it's not only government who do not seem to want to be able to make sure that that container comes above ground and the families who've been camping there at the site get the answers or even the much needed closure. He says that unions as well seem to have abandoned the families. How do you respond? Have you left them alone?
That is political expediency. During his time, when the container, when that mine collapsed, where was he? Was in Robben Island serving sentences? No, he was sitting in the office of a DA. He never even sent any words to this family. So he saw the opportunity of how to build his Action SA in the expense of the pain of the black people. He's the last person to talk.
Let's then, look at this particular issue of, the mining industry. The president talks about these social labor plans, and we were talking to a community-led group here on the show who say that these social labor plans are not being adhered to, and they feel very much aggrieved as the communities. Now, the president talking to the mining companies today saying they have to adhere to these social labor plans for the betterment of the lives of the people. Where is the holdup when it comes to enforcing that these social labor plans be adhered to? Because it looks like we are talking about this issue up until this very point. It doesn't look like anything is moving there.
It's sad because, the president talks as if he is not the one who is the head of the state. What prevents him to enforce legislation for these companies to comply? That's a question that we need to ask him. we as AMCU, we've made a proposal to the state to say, for every mine, before they dig any ounce or any ton, they must develop the community. They must make sure that there is proper housing, proper water recreation, there must be a proper recreation facilities, schools must be built, as they were doing during apartheid. If you look in most of the mines, they will start up building villages, recreation, schools. What has stopped now is because some of the politicians have interest in these mines. So therefore, it's a PR exercise, what they are saying. They are the government, they are the legislature. If they are failing, why they don't revoke their licenses? What stops them?
And I wonder, were you part of the delegation? Did you make your voice heard on some of these issues?
We've got a paper trail. We are not part of the delegation, but we've got paper trail. We've marched to Union Building. We gave them memorandum. We've marched to DMRE. We gave them memorandum of all our submission. For instance, the amendment of Mine Health and Safety Act. AMCU made some submission, presentation in the parliament that this CO, whoever kills mine worker, must be liable, must be put to jail. And those amendments were never adhered to or were never even received or considered for that matter. We even say Section 23 of Mine Health and Safety Act, it's got a huge loophole whereby the employer has got more power than the worker. Let us amend it and give the workers the full right to refuse to work under unsafe conditions. The same government hasn't done anything about it. So, I'm convinced that the mineral energy complex are the one who running the country. They are the one who's got power more than any minister, mostly even the government.
So the minister, though, says that the fatalities are not at worrying levels or like emergency levels, as they put it. So you're saying that it's still not enough that we even, are looking at this through the lens of saying that it's a disaster when 5 or more, of the workers die underground. We still need to, of course, hold people to account, even if it's one, because the minister says that it's not at crisis level.
Yeah, I think maybe because it's not our families, blood relatives that are dying in those mines. So it's easy to say that. The fact of the matter, these accidents, these fatals are repeatable accidents. So if you've got one accident that repeats itself more than 5 times and end up killing workers, it shows clearly that the companies, these mines, they are not investing in safety. Let me substantiate or give you an example. We called for the collision avoidance technology. What these companies, these mines did, they installed the same technology, but to sense the other equipment. So we wanted a detector that can detect, a human being, for the machine to switch off when it detects the temperature of a human being. They never put that as a system in place, but instead they put the detectors that detect another machine not to damage another machine, because they are chasing profit. So therefore, and production. Therefore, you cannot say these mines are putting money to avoid people dying underground. Fatalities. So they're only chasing profit and targets. That's why the government does not even care to amend Mine Health and Safety Act in order to make these companies to be responsible and accountable to the lives of those workers who are toiling in the belly of the earth. To make them rich, to pay all these 300 million bonuses per annum of these bosses that are frustrating workers underground.
All right, Mr. Mathunjwa, thank you so much for your time. And one certainly hopes that, these conversations don't continue to be had. And even, Minister Kweremantashe, of course, talking about the concern even around some of these incidents. You're thinking about rolling blackouts and the impact that is going to have on jobs, particularly in this sector. But let's leave it there with you for now. Thank you so much. Do appreciate your time. That is Joseph Mathunjwa, AMCU President.